What's up, guys? I hope you have had a chance to watch Rebel Moon, and if not, it is on Netflix right now, so make sure you watch it. I also have my review up for part 1. It has no spoilers if you want to check that out. No spoilers again. So if you want to check out my review for part 1, go ahead and head over to the channel to check that out as well. But you might have noticed, if you did watch part 1, at the end was the trailer for part 2 coming out in April. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. And I did watch it already, but I definitely want to do a reaction. They're keeping the hype going. They are immediately marketing part 2. There's some images and a poster that have already come out. Let's go ahead and see this teaser for Rebel Moon part 2, The Scargiver. I loved him in the movie. Beautiful!
Their nightmares us fighting together to defend something we love.
Oh, look at that!
You must know you cannot win.
Gather every hunting rifle, every knife, every round of ammunition in the village. That's impressive. The time has come for all that you love. Show them no mercy.
You stand between us and annihilation.
Okay, so that is the teaser for part 2, The Scargiver. So like Zach has said, part 2 is definitely a war movie. Part 1 was like gathering them up. You kind of have the first initial encounter with Noble, but the stakes have definitely risen in part 2, which is what Zach says here. It's a war movie. The stakes have risen for the village. From, hey, we want some of your grain, to now you're harboring the most wanted fugitive in the history of the galaxy, referring to Korra. So definitely higher stakes and, you know, a lot more battles and probably stuff going on. There's quite a bit of fight scenes in the first one, but like full-on battle here, war in the second one. And we see from the trailer that, you know, now that they have the whole team together and they're all these different type of soldiers and warriors together, they can train these, you know, humble farmers and village people to fight against the Motherworld, or try to. You know, if you've seen part 1, it looks like in this movie we're going to get a lot more of each character's skill set, their history, their background, a lot more screen time for each of them, as well as in the director's cut of part 1. But this one, part 2, you know, you're going to probably see them a lot more like interacting with each other, seeing really where they come from and how they're bringing, what they're bringing to the table. The article says, although he won't get specific on timing, Snyder says that a huge portion of the Scargiver is this battle on Veld. Zach said it was fun to plan the battle and try to figure out how Korra and the village could stand a chance against a world-destroying spacecraft, referred to as the Dreadnought in the film. The Scargiver will also revisit the royal family that ruled the Motherworld until they were wiped out by mysterious assassins. And so if you watched part 1, you might have, you know, remembered the backstory that Jimmy kind of narrates, talking about the Princess Issa and her royal family, what happened to them. I'm not going to read everything that's said here because it can be potentially spoilerish if you haven't seen part 1. But Issa, like Zach says, is kind of described as a redeemer. She's the second chance. A version of her has existed in the past. 2 other times in the history of the Motherworld's existence, a version of Issa has been born into the royal family to reel them back in, because every few thousand years they get completely out of control. Issa is born to unite them again and bring order. And that was kind of like the Jimmy robot's purpose, was to protect her and that bloodline. Snyder teases that the Scargiver will reveal more about what really happened to the royal family and what role Korra might have played in their fate. Even the title is relevant. So again, part 1 kind of hints and gives you a glimpse into Korra's relationship with the royal family And I was like, man, what happened to them? I want to know more about what happened to them. And that's obviously going to be addressed in part 2. I'm really looking forward to learning more about that. The title has to do with Cora, Zach says. We learned something in part 2 about Cora's crimes, what she's wanted for, and why the Imperium is after her. So again, the release dates for both director's cuts have not been announced yet, but the director also sees his new sci-fi universe as a bottomless pit of stories. This hasn't been confirmed, but I was hoping if there were ever a spin-off like a TV show or something about the younger days of Belisarius that I would love to see. I would love a young actor to play that part, so we just aged him for this. Now, I'm not saying that's happening or that there's even really discussions of that, but I think that he's such a rich and interesting character, and he's such a great actor that the potential is really amazing. If the story were to continue past the 2 movies that we've made, his role would increase exponentially, as you can imagine. And he had there were definitely some interesting things going on with him in part 1. And if you did see part 1, and we know that the director's cut is coming as well, you can see that it sets up so many different things that could happen and expand within this universe, and different, each character you could go more into depth on and learn more about them and the different worlds that they introduce, and it's very much like a vast universe. And Zach has talked about that over the past several months, that it goes very deep and expansive, and so I hope that they continue to expand upon it at Netflix, because it opens up the door for so much. Entertainment Weekly also has a couple of exclusive images to share from part 2 as well. We see one with Tarek and General Titus there. Looks like they're on Velt, probably during the battle. We also see one of the royal family with the scribes following behind them, as well as Cora. And then there was also a poster already released for part 2 as well. I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more. If you want to know more about my thoughts about part 1, go ahead and check out my review on the channel. But I think part 2 is just going to be epic, and tons of action, and again, more for each character, more backstory for all of the different things that we got introduced to in part 1, and I'm very much looking forward to everything that they have to offer within this universe, director's cuts, everything. Cannot wait. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for checking out the channel. Go watch Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire on Netflix now. And again, you can check out my review if you want to know more of my thoughts on that one, but they're already promoting part 2 and keeping the hype going over the next couple of months. So I'm definitely excited for that. Thank you guys for the support. Check out the short section on the channel if you're interested. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see you soon.